You're welcome to the Optimized Podcast with Osayi Tres Omokaro. This is one of my ways of helping individuals and businesses to optimize so they can earn more and hire more. And together, we're able to reduce unemployment, crime, and criminality in our society. So sit back, relax, listen for that insight that truly transforms because your earning and your hiring matters to us.
Hello, guys. What if I tell you that the key to your greatest success is not about working harder, but it's about working exactly where you are meant to be? Because the truth is, there is a place you are meant to be. My Bible tells me that we are created as God's workmanship. And it talked about the fact that for a work that was crafted for us before creation, and he said, a job you had better be doing. You can find that from Ephesians 2:10. Today we are diving deep into the four zones of operations and how to find your zone of genius. So today, our conversation today can be captioned as operating from your zone of genius, unlocking your unique potentials. You know, truth be told, your zone of genius is where effort becomes effortless, where purpose is found. Purpose is not found in working hard, but in walking through. Are you walking through to self? You know, the most successful people don't work harder, they work more authentically. Just imagine taking a fish from the water and putting the fish outside of water and telling the fish to work harder. It's part of the reason why I have a different response to the concept of comfort zone. So I would rather advise people be against the concept of comfort and convenience zone. I believe you should operate from your comfort zone, but never allow convenience and complacency come in. As we dig deep into this, I want to look at the four zones of operations. Every human being on the earth operates from one of these four zones. And my goal is to see how you can operate from your zone of genius. First, you have the zone of incompetence, where you struggle. Your task drains a lot of your energy, and activities that you are engaged in are not the ones that you are naturally good at. The reason why a lot of us settle for this place is because we have refused to study our financial life. We have refused to be intentional about our finances. That's why I developed a course I titled Mind Your Money. If you look at the show notes or look at somewhere around this video, you'll see a place where you can buy that course. Because when it comes to finances, your mind is more powerful than your hands. Your mind is more powerful than your legs. So that course will help. If you don't deal with this, you will do jobs in your zone of incompetence. You will know that this is not what I like to do. This is not what I'm naturally good at. And you don't have an option because your finances have got into a critical situation where you must do whatever you have to do to make money come in. Then the second zone is your zone of competence. The task you have here are tasks that you can do, but your performance here is still at average performance. Of course, you can get regular results, no exceptional results. My friend and colleague Stephen Osawaru will always say, only slaves do what they are paid to do. Free people exert themselves and do beyond what they are asked to do. So if you find yourself in a working environment and you are one of those that keep emphasizing that is not in my job description, check it properly. You may just be functioning in your place of competence. Yes, you can do the task. Of course, you get average performances, no exceptional results, but very minimal excitement or fulfillment, where you're just able to fulfill that mantra. I go to work, You've not really sat down to ask how much fulfillment do I get from doing this job. Then the third zone is what I call your zone of excellence. This is where majority are that have seemingly successful outcomes. But I also still think that you can go beyond there. Your zone of excellence is where you have skills, where you do tasks that aligns with the skills that you have. You consistently could come up with high quality work. Your abilities are well recognized and appreciated, but something still feels missing. Something still feels missing. It's like a fish in an aquarium. Yes, it's still within his sphere of influence, but that fish is limited to the size of the aquarium. That will happen in your zone of excellence. You're doing an excellent job. Your job aligns with your skill. You consistently will get higher quality work done. You are recognized, you are appreciated, but something still feels missing. You know that I can do better. Then the fourth is where I want you to be. Where we talk about your zone of genius, where purpose meets delivery, where you make your highest impact with the least efforts, where you have that maximum fulfillment, influence, income, and impact. For me, that is what this thing I'm doing represents for me. No matter how tired I am, just wake me up. I can jump on the camera and do this. This is where I am. And sometimes you tell yourself, but if you call this your zone of genius, how come you don't have all of the money? See, the truth is, money will follow after you do this. But just locate that zone of genius where your unique gift aligns, where your purpose meets your delivery, where your work is actually coming from a place of fulfillment, coming from a place of purpose. Please, I know this can be taken out of context. Somebody is going to ask, does it mean until I find my place of genius, I shouldn't do anything? The Bible corrected that. Whatsoever your hand findeth to do it excellently as unto the Lord. So you don't have an excuse. But once you go through this and you have this understanding, you know that where I am now is not my optimal. Remember, the name of this program is Optimized Podcast. Our work is to ensure that you, as an individual, your business, your state, your country is operating at an optimal level. So your zone of genius is that place where you operate optimal. So let's go through some diagnostic strategies on how to identify your zone of genius. The first thing you want to do is that you want to try to audit your natural talent. Even in my book, Get Employed, I started that book, the first chapter, talking about your identity. Your identity. How do you determine your identity? How do you come up with your identity? First of all, your source, God. Second, your natural gifts and talents. Third, your acquired skills, your acquired certifications and knowledge. Please don't brag about certificates that you genuinely do not have the knowledge to back. In that book, I talked about certification versus certification. Certificate or certificate. First, let's audit your natural skills. Take a piece of paper, audit your natural skills. What are these natural talents that I have? For me, one of such talents is speaking, communication. But I layer some other learnings around it. I went and studied mass communication. I could say it was by providence because I actually got admission into school to do estate management. But for some academic qualification at that time, I ended up in mass communication. But that really helped to fine tune me, build my self confidence and all of that. Then I realized that talking comes natural to me. Then the second thing you want to do is that what do people consistently compliment you on? See, the people around you are supposed to be a pointer to your natural gifts. There is something they always say, oh, you do this thing very effortlessly. Remember, we say your zone of genius is that place where effort become effortless. So, what activities feels effortless to you? What I'm doing now feels effortless. In fact, I was bragging one day and I told somebody, put me on the stage, give me a mic, introduce me, then give me a topic. I can still speak for 1 hour. Beyond the natural gifts, I took my time to also train myself. I'm a born teacher. And I also understand the style of my teaching. I even have people who teach in ways that I appreciate, that I want to embrace. But I understand you in your teaching, what is most important to you. What is most important to me in my teaching is that the people I talk to understand enough to take action the very next minute. That's why I'm not really fast when I'm teaching. I want to go slowly. I want people to be able to have deep understanding when they listen to. What is that activity that feels effortless to you? Then do what we call a fulfillment mapping exercise. How do you do this? Sit quietly with a pen and a paper. Then recall activities from your past week, past months. Then categorize them across these 4 zones that we've talked about. Your zone of incompetence, your zone of competence, your zone of excellence, and of course, your zone of genius. You're going to find out some of these activities you are engaged in. There are some that fall into all of these categories of zones. Once you do that, you begin to see those activities that give you the highest fulfillment, those activities that give you the highest of results. When you identify these activities, take time to look at some external perspective. Ask people who know you best, your spouses if you're married, your parents, siblings, people you guys work together. Let them tell you, what do you think I'm naturally great at? Ask specific questions. When do you see me most energized? You could be in an office when it's time to write, you're struggling, but when it's time to talk, you are like an ego released in the air. You know, I remember the time I worked in the bank, I was in operations, sitting down with the operational activities, but every opportunity given to me to come up and speak during our morning meetings, I was in my zone of genius. So I used to tell myself, if somebody had spotted me then and said, this guy is excellent at communication, let's get him into our marketing arm. I'm not sure I would have resigned from the bank so that's it. It's part of your role as a manager to look at people and spot their zones of genius and make sure people are plugged in those zones. It will help your work. Then let's look at some practical implementation of all of these things that I'm teaching. You want to build a business, I recommend you build a business around your zone of genius. Align your work with your unique strengths. When I sit down with people with innovative ideas, startup founders who want to start a business, and they're asking me questions, they are sharing their thoughts, they're sharing their ideas. Meanwhile, if you are one of such persons or you are an existing business, you can book a one-on-one session with me. It is called Heart to Heart with Osayi Tres Omokaro. The link to doing that will be on your show notes and it will be showing around this video or podcast. Depends on where you're watching from or where you're listening from. This recording is available in all podcast channels, from Apple Podcasts to Spotify to many other. The link to all of these podcast channels will be on this screen, will be on the show notes. So build your business around your area of strength. So I always ask these guys, yes, powerful idea, powerful thoughts, revolutionary idea. What's your expertise? You can't have an idea of a business and all of the major expertise to build the product and the services will depend on outsider. It is frustrating. So build your business around your unique skills, while you have to then staff areas of your struggles. Then create systems that leverage your natural skills. Create systems that leverage your natural skills. Then develop offerings that feel like play, not work. You call me. I remember just 2 days back, I needed to sit down with some of my mentees who I sit on their board. Meanwhile, that's something you can also call me. I can be a part of your board, cost you not so much. I'll be a part of your board, taking on your board meetings, share my thoughts and ideas to guide your business decisions. So if that's something you want, let me know and all of that.